So, Hound W, who is one of the regular question askers of chat, a lot of questions out of Hound W says, I know you probably have answered this before. How'd you come up with the name Day9? I don't want to tell you the way that I came up with it, because I've done this. I've done this so many times. I always tell this story. I always tell it. So we need a better story. Chat, tell me. Where's the starting location? I need an unbelievably specific location. I don't mean like a school, like super fucking specific, like the janitor's closet at the Wendy's on 49th Street. Like, I need a specific place. Give me a specific place. I need that specific place. And secondly, I need a specific occupation of a person who was there, who was the inspiration for this name. I need this. Cancel FM says Genesis 1:1. And God said, let there be a vague name. Chrono said, the hospital which you were born at the 9th day of the month. Stonehenge, says the next doctor. That's it, it's Stonehenge. You mean Stonehenge? Your finger accidentally put a D in there. You needed to get the N, man. Stonehenge? Really, Stonehenge? Oh my god, the ancient shrubbery planted by prehistoric humans. Stonehenge. That is mysteriously trimmed in a circle underneath the moon. It's somewhere in, I don't know, Europe or some shit? That's how all American school children understand history. Oh yeah, isn't that the Colosseum? That's in Europe, isn't it? We don't learn about Asian or African or South American history. It's Indians in America, and then everything else is in Europe. That's about the way that America understands things. So of course, there I was, somewhere in Europe, getting ready. Let's get this one out. Ugh. Get down! I was deep in a European jungle. It was hot. It was by the equator because, again, the Indians or Europe. This is the American education system at work, including my stutter. So there I was. I was in a European jungle, and I came to a clearing, and there it was, before me. Large pillars of kale that formed the boundaries of the mysterious tourist attraction Stonehenge. My Sherpa, Gunta, in the European jungle, he was there. And he said, here it is, Sean. Stonehenge, I have brought you here. His face covered in sweat, the machete propped by his side to hold his weight. And I said, thank you, Gunta, doing a traditional European jungle bow. Wait, I realized we didn't actually get the second half of this. Who was the person who was there? Who was there for the creation? We have Stonehenge from the next Doctor, who says the best misspelling of my life. It was top tier. We were all there for it, man. Oh my god, sick! Oh, an armored warhorse. Who was there? And I need a specific name. Or a specific identity, man. Like, really give me that identity. No, more than Indiana Jones. You gotta give me, like, it was Indiana Jones wearing a corset right after he had graduated from community college. Like, I need something that's specific of who this person was. Because we got Stonehenge, which is actually the greatest location that is in all of Europe. Well, what's this person's name? Does that have to be a real person?
Who am I?
It could be, as Nether says, Chesterfield Snapdragon McFisticuffs, but you gotta give me some background. It can't just be Fabio, as 7 of 9 says. It can't be Alexander the OK, as Steakface says. What? Oh, it's a...
Get down!
Alright, we're answering the question, where did the name Day9 come from? Let's see here. Let's see here. I'm scanning chat. There's all sorts of fetishes coming out right now, says Jerripert. No, that makes a lot of sense. You know, that makes a lot of sense. I'm seeing things like Tom Cruise riding 2 horses tied together by rope after he got out of the river. You're totally barking up the correct tree, Cold Cybercloud, which is the name of the man who typed that.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Who is it? Let's read some links. Your brother Nick, professional StarCraft caster extraordinaire, with his friend Artosis, who were going through a preteen crisis at the time involving his long-distance girlfriend he met at camp. Kronos, that's right. So, long ago, way back when I was a young boy, I was gallivanting through the jungles of Europe with my Sherpa Gunta. Gunta said, "A little ways up ahead, Sean. Stonehenge is close." We started with a party of 7. 2 had died of dysentery because my audience is mostly gamers. And the 5 of us remained. Me and 4 people who we won't mention again for the purposes of storytelling conciseness. I would say concision, but that sounds a little bit like circumcision. And I am firmly against jick-dokes today. I would never tell a jick-doke. So the 5 of us with 2 corpses behind us headed towards Stonehenge, where great pillars of kale are arranged in a circle underneath the moon that sparkle and shit, referencing, I don't know, Vikings or Scottish people or some shit like that. This is about as far as the American education system goes. And I pushed through, and there were the hedges before me. But they weren't unmanned. There was not a lack of population. It wasn't the case that we didn't not see that there were humans there. Because the 2 that were my brother, Tasteless, StarCraft commentator extraordinaire, and Artosis, who doesn't even receive a positive in this case, because Kronos was in a hurry to hit enter. I walked up to my dear brother Nick and I said, "Hello, Tasteless," because according to the internet, I wouldn't call him Nick. And he says, "Hey, sleeping drone," and his mouth became exhausted. The number of syllables it took for him to say that made his mouth exhausted. I just told you that. Are you paying attention? And Artosis was there, and he was like, "Yeah!" the way he normally does.
Reporting for duty.
I was trying not to fucking lose him there.
Victory is yours.
We won! We won the game! So I've come through the European jungle. I've come across Tasteless, Artosis, who is only Artosis and nothing more, but who I will say is the Wikipedia of StarCraft. And my brother there with his tired mouth and Artosis. And now Artosis is removed from the story so I can finish telling you without laughing. And Nick and I became enwrapped in conversation. We began to discuss all the games that we had played, all the memories we had shared, and all the strategies we could have improved upon in the various games that we played. Gunta had sat down by the giant pillar of kale. Healthily, he sat, waiting for his energy to return so we could make the great trek back with the remaining 5 people who shall still be unnamed because I don't have time to elaborate upon them. And Nick said, "It is a good day to discuss StarCraft with you." And I said, "That reminds me of the Corsair quote, 'It is a good day to die.'" And he said, "Indeed, being one-dimensional brothers, everything is derivative of things from StarCraft." And I said, "Indeed." And he said, "Because it is a good day to see you, Sean. I feel that this day should be memorialized in you in some way, and being relatively unoriginal and young, my cortex hadn't fully formed. I was still going through puberty. I was short. My voice cracked a lot. I had acne that looked terminal." And I said, "Why don't we call me Day?" And he said, Nick was not good at shutting me down. He wanted to make me feel supported. So indeed, there I was, in the gardens of Stonehenge, the famous tourist attraction in Europe, where pretty much history happened, according to America. I said, "Nick, I shall forever be known as Day." And he's like, "What about your name, Sean?" And I said, "Not on the internet, Nickeloid." I call him that sometimes. Oh, shit, I told you all. Oh, it's public now. And then what happened? That's a very good question. This is about as far as we've come. This is what happens when you have a collection of material you weren't expecting to have, and someone is standing there going, "This feels like the middle," and I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, that's right. We're not done yet. And then, because we're in Europe, German showed up. That's right. In Stonehenge, a German girl was there. And there she was, with her horse-drawn cart selling pretzels and mustard, because I ate those last time I was in Germany. And that's the way that is now. Her name was... it was Berlin. Jesus, my brain is not functioning well. It was a woman named Berlin from Germany. Isn't that sad? She was selling pretzels and mustard, which are really good if you're ever in Germany. No, her name was Felicity. Thank you, King Watt. Her name was Felicity. She was one of the most beautiful girls I had ever seen. She had long flowing hair that was the color of people indigenous to Germany. She wore clothes as people in Germany do, because when you hear the stereotypes in America and you finally travel to Cologne and to Berlin and to Hanover, you realize, oh yeah, they just have Nike in Germany, right? It's not a really big excitement. There she was, just in a Nike shirt and jeans from Ein Gap, like, I don't know, from the Gap or some shit. And struck by her beauty, her face radiating in the moonlight, encircled by the perfectly artificially trimmed hedges of Stonehenge. And I came up to her and I said, "You are truly beautiful." She responded to me in German. She didn't speak English. And I said, "I think I love you, Felicity." Das Gap, thank you. It's Das Gap, forgive me. Das Gap. Ein Gap. I don't know where Ein Gap is. Ein Baby Gap. Das ist Keksel Wickelraum. That's what she said to me. It was fucked up. But yes, I looked at Felicity and I said, "I love you, Felicity. Will you be mine?" And this is where I have to introduce a translator to the story, because due to continuity, I've established that she speaks no English. She does not speak as das English in. Sie sprechen Sie Deutsch. Or something. Approximately. And I said to the translator, Howard, I said, "Howard, tell her I'm into her." And Howard said some shit. And she looked at Howard, and she looked at me, and she looked at Howard, and she looked at me, and she said, "Nein." And she whispered it with anguish. And I could tell in that moment that though Felicity thought that there was no flaw on me in any way, Felicity had to take care of her horse. She cared deeply for this horse. This horse had had a hard life. Had worked a 9-to-5 job at a Walmart. Had been laid off. Became homeless. Struggled, begged, clopping with his hooves, please. And she gave that horse a home to pull. Actually, that's kind of a shitty home. She just made the horse pull the cart for her pretzels to go to Stonehenge to sell to people she couldn't even communicate with. Isn't that sad? And though she wanted me, prepubescent, acne-ridden, short, voice crackling, hair parted down the middle, because that's the way a Backstreet Boy did it one time, and Sean saw that and said, cool, I'll do it. She said 9, and I walked away. And I went to my dear brother, Nickeloid, and I said, Nick, because I don't call him that all the time. Nick, she said 9. And because of the random and seemingly arbitrary and relatively dumb decision that had been made earlier that day, whereupon I bestowed on myself the name Day, I couldn't part with my heartbreak. It was part of me now. That day when I had fallen in love and was ripped apart from my lover because of literally a horse. Isn't that fucked up? Isn't that sad? And joy and sadness. As is life, there is no joy without sadness. There is nothing except by contrast. There is not happy moments without sad moments. There is not hot without cold. There is not victory without defeat. And I marked on that day to merge these two together, the joy of seeing my brother nearby Artosis. Yeah! The joy of seeing my brother. The defeat and anguish of being permanently parted from Felicity because of this horse. This joy and anguish together represents me. My name is Day 9, and that, Hound W, is the story of Day 9. Let's try to get out of rank 18, right? Let's get on that. Let's try to fix this fucking problem, because this is a fucking problem, huh?